What's up, guys? What the Duck back again. I want to make a video on a couple different things. One being the video that my brother posted yesterday about the first couple mods you should do to your truck or your Cummins to pretty much bulletproof it, which is like the fuel pressure gauge or aftermarket lift pump via AirDog or Fast. In that video, he goes that the Fast is probably or is better than the AirDog and vice versa, because a lot of his buddies have been running the AirDog and they have problems with it. I run an AirDog and I will admit I had a problem with mine, and I can't vouch for the Fast whatsoever because I've never ran the Fast. But I'll go ahead and tell you guys my problem, because the answer to this problem will actually answer a couple other questions I get through my DMs. That being, what is on the bottom of my fuel tank? Is it a performance mod? How much does it cost? How hard is it to install? And so on and so forth. And since I posted that video, I think it was called, I think I broke my Cummins. I think in that video I showed like a quick glimpse of my sump that I run on the bottom of my fuel tank. And it's a Beans diesel sump. And the reason I'm putting their name out there is because they're an awesome guys, and I'll get to that as well. But to answer the question of how my AirDog gave me problems is, I bought the AirDog. I have an AirDog 150, and I bought the AirDog and brought my truck to a shop. I said, hey, here's the AirDog, here's my truck, do you mind putting that AirDog on my truck? And they go, okay, we'll do that. They call me a couple days later and say, hey, AirDog's installed, come pick it up. I pay them, everything's fine and dandy. I drive about an hour and a half to my mom's house. Truck's running great. It feels like it's a little bit more responsive, but I could be my brain at the same time, just because I know I have a new mod to my truck. So I think every time you put a new mod on your truck, you always think, or you always hope for something being better on your truck. But I did believe that the gas pedal was a little bit more touchier and the fuel was there whenever I was trying to give it some gas. So driving an hour and a half to my mom's house, and my mom lives on an incline. Her driveways have, an incline, so I'll park the truck on the driveway, and next morning I get up, I go to crank the truck won't crank. And I was like, okay, well, this is weird. I go to crank it a second time, once again, truck won't crank. Go to crank it a third time, and I give a little bit of fuel, it fires right up. And I go, okay, well, I've never had a fuel problem in this truck before. Just installed this AirDog yesterday, and now I'm having a problem. So I don't find it a coincidence that my truck is having a fuel problem now after I install this AirDog. So I call the shop and I go, hey, my truck was having problems cranking this morning. Do you mind taking a look at it? Make sure I didn't get a faulty AirDog, so on and so forth. And they go, yeah, just bring it by the shop tomorrow and we'll take a look at it. Well, I bring it by the shop. They take a look at it. They call me about 2 or 3 weeks later and they go, okay, well, we found out that your crossover tubes are broke, so you need to order some new crossover tubes. And I go, okay, we'll go ahead and buy them and install them, and I'll come pick the truck up when you guys are done. They call me a couple weeks later and they say, hey, truck's ready, come pick it up. I go pick it up. On the way home, driving home, I'm doing about 70, I want to say, and the truck runs out of fuel again. And I'm like, okay, well, something's going on. So I throw it in neutral, coast to a stop, put it in park, call the shop. I say, hey, just left your shop, truck just went out or is running out of fuel on me again. Do you mind sending a tow truck out to me and taking a look at it? And I say, yep, no problem. Tow truck gets there, put it back on the tow truck, send it back out to the shop. And they call me a couple weeks later and they go, unfortunately, your gaskets, something with my injectors was cracked or was leaking air into the system. I don't remember exactly, but something along my injectors was either cracked or a gasket or something was misaligned or something, and it was leaking air into the system, and that what was causing the truck not having enough fuel and it depriving itself and it dying on me. And I go, well, do you mind go ahead and dropping the tank and making sure that the draw straw was not cut too short? And the reason I asked that is because when I had the video, or when I had the truck in the shop for a couple weeks, I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that these trucks have what they call a quarter tank issue. And what that is when you install a Fast or an AirDog, it comes with a draw straw, and it basically is a big straw that goes in or from the top of your fuel tank into your fuel tank. And it's supposed to be like a little bit off the bottom of your fuel tank, so it gets like every last drop. And I heard that if you go around a corner too fast, or if you're on an incline, or just like weird scenarios, that your truck will act like it's out of gas because the draw straw was cut too short, so all the fuel is either at the back of the gas tank on an incline, or it switches to the side of the fuel tank when you go around the corner. And that could be an issue. So I thought, okay, well, whenever they call me, I'll go ahead and ask about the draw straw. So they say, yeah, we'll take a look at it. We'll give you a call in a couple days. They call me in a couple days and say, hey, you know, AirDog's fine. It was the crossover tubes and the injector line or injectors. So you're fine, Danny, now. So I go, okay, great. So I go pick the truck up, and about a week or two later, I go around another corner, and the truck once again dies on me. Completely turns off on me. So I throw it back in neutral, coast to a stop, put it in park, and this time I call another shop and I go, hey, my truck is running out of fuel. Do you guys mind sending a tow truck out to me? And they go, yeah, no problem. And I get a tow to the shop. I go ahead and run over my story with them, and they go ahead and tear it apart. They call me 2 or 3 days later and they say, all right, well, there's 2 different things. Unfortunately, your BP is out of, or it's pretty much ran itself dry too many times, and it's shot. I mean, it's outlived its days or whatever. And I go, great. Second thing is they took the gas tank down, or the fuel tank, whatever you want to say, and they found out that the draw straw was cut like in between 3 and 4 inches too short. So what that means is whenever I went around a corner or I was on an incline, the fuel was down here and the draw straw was here, and there was no fuel getting to the draw straw. So that's why I kept running out of fuel, which I knew was a problem because it was kind of common sense. I'd never had a fuel problem with the truck before, and now the truck keeps running out of fuel. So I thought, okay, great. Well, they recommended putting a sump on the truck, and I go, all right, well, I'll do a little bit of research and I'll see which one I like, and I'll go ahead and give them a call. And whenever I get the new BP in, I'll go ahead and drop the BP and the sump off at the shop, and we'll go ahead and put them on, and hopefully that solves my issue. So I looked at a couple different sumps, and the Beans Diesel Performance one stood out a lot better, or not necessarily looked a lot better, but whenever you kind of like break them down, the Beans Diesel one looked a lot better. And what I mean by that is they took 1 bolt and 1 hole to install the Beans Diesel Performance sump kit. And I'm not going to say, like I said, I'm not trying to bash any companies, but a couple of the other companies that sell sump kits required you drilling like 18 or 20 holes around the sump kit itself, and all that literally was for looks. All those extra holes were literally, it wasn't adding any type of performance to your truck. It was only for looks. So I didn't want to buy those because I figured the more holes that were in my fuel tank, the more possibilities of it leaking. So I called the guys over at Beans Diesel and I go, hey, my truck just ran out of fuel, blah, blah, blah. My stuff, my AirDog, blah, blah, my BP's out, blah, blah. I told them the whole story I just told you guys. And they go, all right, well, we're going to send you a sump kit. It should completely 100% solve your issue. You'll have it tomorrow. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, man, no problem. We'll send it, you know, one day ship it to you and you'll have it tomorrow. Didn't pay anything extra other than I think it was $150 for the sump kit. Could be wrong on that. I'll try to throw the link in the description below for you guys so you guys take a look at it. But didn't pay anything extra. The guys at Beans Diesel Performance literally had it out to me the next day. And those guys are awesome. I'll always recommend Beans. And I think even on their website, they're rated 5 out of 5 stars. I mean, it's literally like a bunch of rednecks in a warehouse. And they answered all my questions I had. They would have like sat there on the phone with me for hours just talking to me. Those guys were awesome over there. And like I said, I went ahead and bought their sump. They had it out to me the next day, and they said this will for a fact solve your quarter tank issue, because instead of the draw straw sucking the fuel from the top of the fuel tank, the Beans sump gets it from the bottom, and it's gravity fed, so it's a lot less stress on the AirDog and on the motor being gravity fed, and it'll, you know, just all in all, it's just a great product. I mean, I can't give those guys like enough I don't even know, like enough respect as it is. I mean, they're awesome. They had it to me in one day, didn't pay anything extra, and I've had the sump on here and the new BP for about 3 months now, and I've had no issues with it. So I guess back to the question, is an AirDog better than a Fast, or is a Fast better than an AirDog? And it really all depends on your application, what you're putting it on, what your road conditions are. I mean, a bunch of factors go into whether or not the Fast is better than the AirDog or the AirDog is better than the Fast. Like I said, I've never ran the Fast, so I can't say anything bad about Fast. But what I can do is tell you my experience with my AirDog. So a lot of you might think, oh, well, you had problems with your AirDog, you had to go buy a new BP44 and a sump kit and all this and that. So obviously go ahead and pick the Fast. And I would argue with you saying my AirDog itself was not the issue. My AirDog runs fine, filters are fine, everything's fine. All the lines fit perfectly, all the fittings fit perfectly, everything's fine. My problem was the installation error of the draw straw being cut too short. So don't get the idea with this video that I'm bashing AirDog. By no means am I bashing AirDog. I love my AirDog, it runs perfectly fine. It's awesome, nothing is wrong with it. It was the draw straw being cut too short. What I do regret is not buying the sump kit when I bought the AirDog. And the reason I say that is because if I would have paid the $150 for the sump, I would have completely bypassed having to pay for somebody to either drop my fuel tank or take my bed off my truck to install the draw straw. So if I would have paid the extra $150, it would have been less in labor that I would have had to pay somebody to do all the extra work, and I would have completely bypassed the draw straw, and I would have saved myself, I think with the new VP, the sump, installation, and all the extra parts I had to buy, I think I spent a little bit over $2,000. I'm doing the math in my head. I want to say it was definitely $2,000 because the VP alone was $1,000. Yeah, it was definitely a little bit over $2,000. So if I would have spent the $150 to begin with when I put the AirDog on, I would have saved myself a lot of money. So if you watch Paradox's video and if you buy a second gen Cummins and you go, all right, well, he's talking about being fast is great. Like I said, he's haven't had problems with it. A couple of my buddies have fastest. They don't have any problems with it. So I would recommend the fast. I would recommend the AirDog too, because even if you have a second gen Cummins and you're caught in between of wanting an AirDog or a fast, just pick one of the other, because it's still better than not having an aftermarket lift pump at all. Like I said, in my case, it screwed me over, but I just got unlucky, to be completely honest with you. I mean, like I said, I'm not mad at that shop for installing it wrong. I'm not going to go over there and ask for my money back or anything like that. You know, it's water underneath the bridge. I'm not out here to, you know, blast anybody or give anybody a bad name. It was just unfortunate, and unfortunately it happened to me, and I'm sure it happens to other people as well. Just make sure if you do buy an AirDog or a fast, either to get a sump or make sure that the draw straw is cut to the right length. And I'm sure there'll be guys down in the comments saying that issues they either ran into an AirDog or a fast too. So if you watch this video and you're caught in between, make sure to read the comments so you actually you do a little bit more research and figure out what's best for your application. And I know a lot of people will say that not to get the bean sump because it can be ripped off by a stick or a rock or something along those lines. Don't listen to those guys. I've been running the sump for a while and nothing has hit my sump, and nothing has been caught in the line for it to be ripped off. And I'll show you guys another thing. If you look on YouTube, there's a video, I don't know if it's Beans' YouTube or not, but there's a video on YouTube showing an ATV pulling a gas tank with a bean sump kit on it, and it's pulling it like hitting trees, running underneath bridges, going through like rivers and stuff, and the bean sump kit is taking all the abuse. It's fine. And there's another video of a guy literally bashing a sump kit with a sledgehammer, and the sump kit is completely fine. I think it's actually on an F-250, and it's still running to this day, that sump that was completely bashed in with a sledgehammer, and it's completely fine. So like I said, don't listen to those negative comments, only listen to the smart, smart negative comments, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, don't listen to the guys that not even running a sump and they're out there bashing it. I mean, you can't listen to a guy that hasn't even had the product, he's in there bashing it. So don't listen to those guys. Just do your research like I did. Call the companies, ask as many questions as you can. Tell them what you're doing, using it for, your application, what the truck usually does, if you live on the mountaintops or whatever, and stuff like that. But as always, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any questions about my sump kit or my AirDog or anything like that, I'll be more than welcome to answer your questions. And other than that, guys, always like the video, subscribe, and you guys have a nice day. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, we're back at my house now. Sorry for it being dark. I went and got a haircut that took a little bit longer than expected, but I just want to show you guys the sump I was talking about. This is the Beans diesel sump, and like I said, it's one bolt, as you can see right there, and the other bolt is actually a drain line, so I don't ever have to drop my tank or put a hose in it to drain. I can just pop that plug out and the fuel comes out. So if I ever needed to drain it, it'll be a lot easier now. Then you see the one blue feed line that comes up and around into my AirDog. This line right here goes up into my engine, obviously, to my injectors. That's the fuel line, and this is the return line right here, and that return line is actually hooked up to my draw straw. So that's going to be my return line. So I still use a draw straw, but not as for feeding wise. I use the sump to feed and the return line as for the draw straw. So that's how that works. It gets sucked up from the sump, comes back around to the AirDog, cleans it up, goes into the motor. And then that return line goes back into the draw straw, and I use the fuel again. It comes back into the sump, and so on and so forth. So that's how that works for you guys that had questions about it. And like I said, if you still have any questions, you're more than welcome to DM me and ask me, because I'm definitely not a douchebag and I help you guys out. And for the guys that watch my videos, you'll see a couple videos ago I mentioned that when I hit 1,000K subs, I think I'm actually coming up on 1,500 now, but when I said I hit 1,000K subs, I was going to give away a couple of these Ducket stickers. And how you're going to win that is just shoot me a DM over Instagram of your vehicle. It could be a truck, a car, go-kart, your mom's minivan, I don't necessarily care. Just send me a picture of it and what color you want, and the first 100 people that DM me, I'll show you guys what I'm going to do. This is called Magic Hat, and what you do is you just enter a bunch of names into the hat. You hit the hat and a random name pops up. So as you can see right now, it's empty. So I'll show you guys how it works. So we'll just type in Cummins, Power Stroke, Duramax, hit next. Then we'll just say like, what's the best diesel there is out there? You would hit the hat, and of course it picks Power Stroke, so we're going to toss that out because that's not true. So what's the best diesel out there? And it says Cummins. That's awesome, so you put it back. What's the best diesel? Then Duramax pops up, so we'll toss that out. And then of course it should say Cummins the next time I pop it up, and Cummins. So we toss it out, and then it's empty. So just show you guys that it's actually a fair app. So what I would do is the first 100 people that shoot me a DM over Instagram with a legit picture of a vehicle, don't send me just a message that says, hey, I want a sticker. I want to send a sticker out to somebody that actually watches my channel and is actually going to put it on their vehicle. So if you don't have a vehicle, please don't message me. No hard feelings. I just want to have it for somebody that's actually watching the channel, that appreciates the channel and wants to actually sticker to show it off. And that way, the 3 winners that do get stickers, I want you guys to be able to send me a picture of the sticker on your vehicle. That way I can put you in a YouTube video. So like I said, no hard feelings. If you don't have a vehicle, I just want to be able to put it on, or the winners be able to show it off. So if you want a sticker, just shoot me a DM over Instagram. And if there's a lot of people sending me messages, I'll probably end up doing like 200 people. And the next video, like I said, I'll put everybody's name in the thing, and I'll show you guys like a quick just like glimpse of me putting them in there. Then I'll hit the hat and show the winners. And then whenever I do that video, whoever wins, I'm going to just shoot you guys a message over Instagram and say, hey, you won, blah, 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 give me your address. That way I can send you the sticker. And then you guys will be happy. I'll be happy. You can send me a picture, and I'll put you in a video. But as always, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Like I said again, sorry for being dark. It's just my haircut took longer than expected. I just want to show you guys the Sump kit and how the AirDog and all that worked. If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to DM me or ask in the comments. I know there's a couple good guys out in the comments, like Big Murph and Ben Gavin's, really cool dudes. There's Blackhawk Diesel, a bunch of guys that are, you know, coming down and helping you guys out, that are really smart with it when it comes to these 2nd-gen Cummins. It's kind of unfortunate that there's not more channels out there on these trucks. I mean, I can only think of a few, like Paradox, there's Travis from the Doghouse, the Beekeeper I think is one that does like constant videos on 2nd-gen Cummins. I wish there was more channels out there on these trucks, but unfortunately there's not. So I'm trying to help you guys out with, or just like show you guys my journey with mine. I mean, she's pretty ugly, but she's my ugly duckling. But like I said, guys, if you guys have any questions, I'm sure there's guys down in the comments, or me myself, that can always help you out. But as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe and like the video. Thanks.